All right, so it says graph the function, draw the axis of symmetry, find the vertex and x and y intercepts. So first thing is putting it into graphing form. That's going to make it a little bit easier for us. So remember, we want to isolate our x's. And then b over 2 squared. That's 4. So x squared plus 4x. We're going to add 4 and subtract 4. And then it's going to be x plus 2 squared. And then we have the minus 4 and minus 5. So that's x plus 2 squared minus 9. So my vertex is going to be negative 2, because that's the h, and then minus 9. Now my axis of symmetry, that's going to be x equals h. So it's negative 2 in this case. Now in drawing the function, I know it's negative 2, negative 9. You can pick in values. You know, you can create an XY table to pick values for it. But I just want a few points in making this accurate. Now to find the y-intercept, remember the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. So if you plug in 0 for x, you're going to get 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 5. So that's just negative 5. So your y-intercept is 0, negative 5. Now to find the x-intercept, you set it equal to 0. And then in this case, let's see, a times c, you get negative 5. The factors of negative 5 that add to 4 are going to be positive 5 and negative 1. That looks like that adds to 4, so this should factor. So x squared plus 5x minus 1x minus 5. Factor by grouping, we factor out an x. We factor out the negative 1, and that works. So you get x minus 1 and x plus 5. So x equals 1 and negative 5. So my x-intercepts are going to be 1, 0 and negative 5, 0. For the next one, finding the vertex, group the x's together. Now b over 2 squared. That's 3 squared, and that's 9. So that's going to be x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 9 plus 2. The factors, so that turns into x plus 3 squared. A times c, 9, factors of 9 that add to 6, 3 and 3, so x plus 3, x plus 3. You get minus 9 and plus 2, so you're going to get x plus 3 minus 7. So your vertex is negative 3, negative 7. Which means your axis of symmetry, it's always x equals h. Oh, and the other one, it says draw the axis of symmetry, and I didn't do that. That's what this is. So now, kind of sketching it, my vertex is minus 3, minus 7. Remember, you can create an XY table. You can pick in values and plot them. I'm just going a little quicker. There's our axis of symmetry. Now to find the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0. So in this case, you get 0 squared plus 6 times 0 plus 2. So you get 2. So my y-intercept is going to be 0, 2. So that's going to be my y-intercept there. Now to find the x-intercepts, you set the equation equal to 0. Now a times c, you get 2 factors of 2 that add to 6. You're going to have to use the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 36, minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 8. So that's negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 24. Now the square root of 24 so the square root of 24, that breaks into root 4 and root 6. So that's 2 root 6. So that's going to be negative 6 plus or minus 2 root 6 all over 2. Now a factor of 2 is going to reduce out, so that turns into 3. That all disappears. So you get negative 3 plus or minus root 6 all over nothing. So you get negative 3 plus root 6, 0, and negative 3 minus root 6, 0. And then, those will probably, be right there and probably about right there if you were to draw the graph. Solving absolute values. So it's usually helpful to get the absolute value part by itself. So add 3. Divide both sides by 2. Now I can do the plus or minus. So I get positive 5x plus 1 equals 3 halves. And then I get negative 5x minus 1 equals 3 halves. I distributed the negative. Now we have fractions. That's okay. So subtract 1. Remember, common denominator. So 3 minus 2, it's going to be 1/2. Divide both sides by 5. Now when you divide, it's going to the denominator, so you're going to get x equals 1 over 10. Now I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Now remember, find the common denominator. So 3 plus 2 over 2, so it's going to be 5 over 2. Divide both sides by negative 5. The 5's cancel out, and so that should be x equals negative 1/2. Fractions are okay. We have the absolute value of 4 minus x. So remember, plus or minus. So we get the positive version. And then if I distribute the negative, you get negative 4 plus x equals 7. Subtract 4. Divide by negative. Add 4, and you get 11.